The stars wept with us that day. As the last light of our home world dimmed, we sent out the most desperate of calls, a plea to every corner of the galaxy. We are the Xendarin, a peaceful race, architects of vast cities and stewards of art that stretched back millennia. We were not warriors, and we had no defense against the scourge that fell upon us, the Kathrax Swarm, a race of merciless conquerors that left nothing but ashes in their wake. When the swarm descended, our fleets crumbled. The Xendarin were a race of scholars and dreamers, not soldiers. As our world burned, we activated the stellar beacon, a distress signal encoded with our most heartfelt plea, "Help us, for we cannot help ourselves." The beacon's light stretched across the void, reaching the farthest reaches of civilized space. We believed that, surely, someone would come, the silence of the stars. For days, we received responses, hollow excuses cloaked in diplomatic language. "The risk is too great. We cannot spare our forces at this time. Your plight is unfortunate, but your enemy is too powerful." Even our closest allies, the Valyrians and the Thalkani, turned their backs. The galaxy was ruled by pragmatism, not compassion, and pragmatism dictated that aiding the Xendarin was a death sentence. Then, just as despair began to consume us, a single voice broke through the silence. "We will come." The message was short, almost understated, yet it carried a weight that we could hardly comprehend. It came from a species we had barely considered in our calculations, a species new to the galactic stage, one that many had dismissed as reckless, primitive, and volatile. It came from humans, a rival of the unlikeliest of allies. Human ships were not the grand, elegant constructs of the galaxy's elder races. They were blocky, utilitarian, and bristling with weapons. When the first fleet arrived in Xendarin space, we were taken aback by their small numbers. Only 100 ships, against the thousands of the Kathrax Swarm. But the humans were undaunted. Admiral Elena Voss, the commander of their fleet, spoke to our council directly. Her voice was firm and unyielding. "We don't leave allies to die. Not on our watch. Tell us where you need us." We tried to explain the hopelessness of the situation, the inevitability of defeat. Voss merely smiled. "Hopeless is our specialty. The stand against the swarm." The humans fought like creatures possessed. Their strategies were unconventional, their courage unmatched. They used tactics no other race would dare attempt. Ambushes in unstable asteroid fields, suicide runs to take out Kathrax command ships, and weapons that seemed crude but were devastatingly effective. Their losses were staggering, yet they held the line. For every human ship that fell, 10 Kathrax ships burned. They refused to retreat, even when surrounded, even when outnumbered 100 to 1. A lesson in sacrifice. During the decisive battle over Xener Prime, the humans deployed what they called a last resort, a massive dreadnought, the Resolute Dawn, charged straight into the heart of the Kathrax fleet. It carried a prototype weapon, an experimental fusion device capable of destroying an entire armada. The cost was unimaginable. Over 10,000 human lives were lost when the Resolute Dawn detonated, taking the Kathrax flagship and its surrounding fleet with it. The humans had sacrificed nearly everything to save a race they barely knew. Aftermath. When the smoke cleared and the Kathrax Swarm retreated, we Xendarin stood among the ruins of our world, alive but shattered. The humans had given us something we could never repay: our survival. Admiral Voss, battered and weary, met with our council one final time. When we asked why they had done it, why they had risked so much for strangers, her answer was simple: because someone had to. A galaxy forever changed. Word of the humans' actions spread rapidly. The galactic community, once dismissive of humanity, began to see them in a new light. They were not the reckless upstarts many had believed. They were warriors, protectors, and perhaps the only species willing to put principles above politics. For the Xendarin, humanity became more than allies. They became family. Together, we rebuilt stronger and more united than before. And whenever the darkness threatened to rise again, the stars remembered. When the galaxy turned its back, only humans chose to stand.